YouTube. I had to do that twice then. Thought my mic stopped working. So, we're on Mortal Kombat X. Well, Mortal Kombat XL. Thought I'd make a quick little video of this. It's been out for quite some time now. It's had a game released in this franchise, a new one after this, Mortal Kombat 11. And yeah, I thought I'd make a quick little video of this, show you guys. Can't exactly remember when it was released. I'll just do a quick little check on quick little check on Google and see when it was released. Player versus player, ranked. Okay, released in April 2015.
Faction battle.
So it's about 4 years old, this game. Initially released without Jason, Alien, Leatherface, Predator, Triborg, Tanya, Boraicho, and Tremor.
Scorpion.
And then slowly but surely they then added, these extra characters in the form of combat packs. Was it worth getting the combat packs? I don't know. You see, what I did was I just waited until they released the XL version of this game, originally called Mortal Kombat X, but with the inclusion of all the extras, they re-released another version. Well, the same game, but with all the added. Yeah, with all the added, as you can tell, I'm very rusty when it comes to this game. Yeah. I'm not really doing too well. I'm just spamming the fire. He's staying too back. What can I do? Oh man. Yeah, I don't think he's. I think he's like me, bit of a shit player. Oh. That was a lucky one. I didn't expect that to happen. You see, things like this normally, you can call it a fluke or just random, but things like this normally happen when you're not capturing footage. But yeah, released in 2015. And how does it fare, after 4 years? Well, to be honest with you, I'd say, as you can see, I mean, the game, doesn't really matter, how old the game gets. The game is always going to be the same. But what I mean is, how does it fare when, you're playing online? And I would say that, to me, it seems like there are still a fair few people who are actually playing this game online. I'll just do a few single player tower matches, traditional living. We'll go for living tower. And the good thing about this game is, even if you're not too keen on who shall I pick? I'll pick Borat, sure. Dragon Breath, Drunken Master. I don't really know the movesets of either variation, so it doesn't really matter which one I pick. I'll go for this one. Yeah, so if you're not into doing the whole online matches thing, or it's just not your thing to play these types of games online, then if you don't already own this game, then you'll realize that if you do get it, you'll realize that just the single player content, there's a lot of content to go through in single player. There's these believe me, I have no idea how I'm pulling off these combos and these moves. I'm just I'm just pressing what I think would work. I'll show you his X-ray move. And yeah, so the living towers are basically, it's just like any normal fighting game where you have to basically beat the opponents and progress to the top. Finishing moves list, special moves, finishing moves, down, back, forward, X, booze you lose. Up close, back, forward, down, Y. Let's try that one. Back, forward, down, Y. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so I've no idea why a robot would have, intestine type internals. But yeah, this is Mortal Kombat for you. And yeah, I would say it's definitely worth picking up. Although, I'm going to be honest with you, this is a fantastic game. If you're into, if you generally just like beat 'em ups, you will definitely enjoy this. But in my opinion, I would say I actually had more fun, and I enjoy and I rate the Mortal Kombat that was released prior to this on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which was dubbed Mortal Kombat 9. It wasn't officially named Mortal Kombat 9. It was actually just called Mortal Kombat. But they then you could tell that they went ahead with that title, because they named this Mortal Kombat X, basically Mortal Kombat 10, and the one after this they've decided to name that Mortal Kombat 11. And so yeah, they decided, so we'll carry on calling that Mortal Kombat 9. So Mortal Kombat 9 on the 360 and PS3, that definitely was one of the fighting games that I regarded highly, and enjoyed playing really good, because come on, missed again. The story mode in Mortal Kombat 9 was something that, ooh, nice. Was something that we'd not seen in many fighting games, and they did it really well. The game looked pretty good. The best thing about it was the extra content. You see, on the PlayStation 3, you got Kratos as an extra character, or a guest character as they're called nowadays. But yeah, Kratos was the exclusive playable character on the PlayStation 3 version of Mortal Kombat 9, and I've got to admit, he was definitely really well suited in the Mortal Kombat genre, or the Mortal Kombat universe. He played really well, and he really, he fitted in with the cast. I can't remember if the Xbox 360 version got anything along them lines. Oh, I missed again. Fuck's sake. Yeah, can't remember if the 360 version got anything along them lines. I've never really actually played the 360 version. I'm hoping that somewhere down the line they make that into a backwards compatible game, playable on the newer systems. And I would absolutely love to see that game with a Xbox 4K lick on it. I mean, they've done Injustice, the first Injustice. They've done that, as a backwards compatible title. So I can't see why they can't go ahead and do the Mortal Kombat 9. But Mortal Kombat 9 is definitely, it needs to be a backwards compatible title. I can't understand why they wouldn't do it. Well, why they haven't done it as of yet. Down, down, back, forward X. Okay, down, down, back, forward X. The fatalities in this game are pretty good. They're quite gruesome. They've got the right mix of gore and brutality to them, but they've not. I wouldn't say that they're that bad. Some of the fatalities do tend to go a little bit extra in the gore factor, but I would say it doesn't really go that far beyond. The fatalities in Mortal Kombat 9, in my opinion, were a lot more fun and a lot more better. They went with a completely different look to this game compared to Mortal Kombat 9, and I would say this was a game where they started to take certain elements out of Injustice and apply them to the Mortal Kombat franchise. And if you've played any of the Injustice games, and then you go ahead and play the latest Mortal Kombat 11, you'll realize that Mortal Kombat 11 is, well, it's turned out to be Mortal Kombat Injustice, or as I'd like to dub it, Mortal Injustice. The lines between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, Gods of War, has been blurred out a lot in that in that game, and yeah, and so I don't know. When I started seeing some footage of Mortal Kombat 11, it kind of put me off, and I never purchased it. I never went ahead. I mean, that is, Mortal Kombat 11 has to be the only Mortal Kombat game that I can remember, you know, as far back as I can remember of the Mortal Kombat history. It's the only Mortal Kombat game that has been released, and I haven't actually, rushed out to get it. And yeah, and so this was like, it's kind of a 50-50 in between what Mortal Kombat has turned out to be, what Mortal Kombat 11 has turned out to be, and what the previous Mortal Kombat was. So it's like they were kind of testing new grounds, and I would say, for the most part of it's really good. It's got that nitty gritty kind of look to it, but at the same time, it's kind of bland as well. I mean, if you look at this character, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, they look really bland, really bland. Whereas, you look at other characters like Tremor or Triborg, Alien, Predator,
Round one.
some of the other characters. Understand, I think combo in one round. Now that I wanna land a combo, a nice big one. I bet you I'll never get it. Yeah. So so this is Mortal Kombat X. What I'll do is I'll just exit this. One player. Towers. I'll go for traditional towers this time. So living towers it picks up one kind of thing, and you go through the entirety of it, having that one effect on. I like to call them effects because that's what they really are. And the character roster is actually pretty good. You've got new characters like Kotal Khan and Ferrator, and you've got this dude, Kung Jin, Takeda, and I think when they were making this, they were trying to sort of push the franchise on the newer. These were introduced as the newer generation. This Kung Jin, Jackie Briggs, Cassie Cage, and Takeda. And I think they were hoping that maybe by introducing these newer characters that they could turn these guys into franchise pushers, kind of like what Sub-Zero and Scorpion have turned out to be. Or in the Street Fighter franchise, you've got Ken and Ryu. In Killer Instinct, you've got Orchid and Jago. In Tekken, you've got Jin and well, you've got quite a few franchise pushes in Tekken now, but Devora, yeah, she's a new one. From what I know, anyway, she's a new one. Reptiles had a complete redesign. You've got Ermac. You got your franchise. Classic characters such as Kung Lao, Jax, Sonya Blade, Kenshi, Kitana, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Melina. You've got Raiden, Quan Chi, Goro. Instead of having Smoke, Cyrax, and Sector, you've now got Triborg. And Borai chose an old character as well. And this dude, Shinnok. I think first introduced in Mortal Kombat 4, but I could be wrong. Aaron Black, I'm gonna be honest with you, he's supposed to be a character that's has already been mentioned in the Mortal Kombat story, but I never heard of him. And also Liu Kang. And in the XL version, you get the options to download like classic skins. So if you press X, you can choose their costume. I'll go for classic, spectral, mystic, master of souls. Let's go for mystic. I have actually played with this character before, but it's been a long time since I've actually, booted this up. Yeah, so I mean, just for single player, you've got your story mode, which is the sprites. I mean, the graphics visually, this game is, it looks really good. I think if they would have made this into a 4K enhanced title, or gave it that, I mean, if they can update previous gen games and add the 4K lick to them, I'm sure they can do it to this as well. But they haven't. But if they did, this game would actually look really, really, really good. It looks good. It looks clean. It looks sharp. But I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. But it looks really bland at the same time as well. I mean, it looks sharp. It is sharp. The details are there and everything. But it just, in my opinion, it just looks really bland, dead bland. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was, I think it was in Mortal Kombat Armageddon or Mortal Kombat Deception, one of those two games, they went really OTT with the blood. It would have been nice to see, some of that, the way they mid, down, up, back, head out, mid, forward, down, down, up. I couldn't do it, but yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. In Mortal Kombat Deception and Armageddon, as the fight would progress, you would see pools and pools of blood just coming out of the characters and all over the stage. It would have been nice if they would have done something like that. It's very, very, very minimal in this game. But visually, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's clean, it's crisp. Just a personal gripe, it seems a bit bland to me. It would have been nice if they would have, gave it a little bit of vibrancy in the color department. But yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 years down the line, it still looks really good. It still plays really well. And if you haven't actually played this game, or you're new to the system, or anything like that, or you're thinking of, you missed out on this, and you're thinking of getting the newer one, I've played the new one a little bit. Plays pretty similar to this. Yeah, plays pretty similar. Obviously, with it being a newer game, it'll probably be, a little bit more responsive, a little bit faster. And they did. I can't really remember what things they added on top of this, or I know they've taken out the X-ray moves, and they're introducing them as fatal blows now. That's a new one. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, it's to be honest with you, it's actually hard to recommend the new one over this. especially because it's new, and you know they're gonna most likely do what they did with this, where they released the game and then, you know, a little bit later on they then went on to what was it? Forward, down, down. Okay, we'll do the down, up, back one. Down, up, back. Down, up, back. No, down, up, back. Yeah, so
Ermac wins.
yeah, so yeah, so I mean the new one, they're gonna do the same thing. You know, I've seen that they're gonna release some combat packs for the new one, and personally, I mean, I played the trial version, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't really too keen on it. Maybe in the future, if they do something like what they did here with the XL pack thing, I'll probably, you know, probably pick it up when it's a little bit cheaper or something. These games, you know, after about a year or two, they go, you know, they go really cheap, and I wouldn't actually, you know, rush out and get the get it while it's new. To me, it, you know, it just, the price doesn't match the content. But I mean, stages like this where the lightning is flashing and everything, and you know, it's raining particle, you know, little particle effects here and there. It looks quite good. And here is an X-ray move. I've finally been able to pull one off. You've most likely seen this, you know, they're everywhere on YouTube. But yeah, this is Mortal Kombat XL. And I'll probably be doing some more videos on this with some online footage, playing with other people. But if you're playing this game, you know, just solo, it's definitely worth picking it up. It's got a lot of content, and that is something, you know, that I would commend, you know, NetherRealm on, where they've, you know, where they've included all this content for single player, you know, with all these challenges with living towers and standard towers and, you know, other towers or something. But yeah, I mean, just as a single player game, it's got a lot of content in it. It will keep you occupied for quite some time. And online play is still live. The online netcode, I think that's what it's called, but the experience online isn't as bad as you would imagine. You know, being it, you know, with it being, you know, 4 years old, nearly 5 years old. April 2020 will be 5 years old. So for a 4 or 5 year old game, I would say it's still kicking ass. And if you haven't actually, you know, played this, or you haven't picked it up and you're into fighting games and whatnot, I would say I would definitely recommend picking this up. It's got a bit of a learning curve to it, but yeah, I mean that's with everything, isn't it? Yeah, I knew she was gonna die anyway. But yeah, so this is Mortal Kombat X, and hope you enjoyed the video. And that's it for me. I'll see you guys later.